There's a transcript that's going viral on Twitter made by Johnny Depp's employee Tara Roberts, who alleges she personally witnessed Amber Heard verbally and visibly attacking Johnny Depp while at his private island in the Bahamas. I'm going to tell you about this transcript and why everybody is talking about it right now on IO. Welcome back to InformOverload. I'm here to tell you about what's trending. By the way, I'm Charlotte. If this is your first time here, subscribe for a different take on the news. Turn on the bell so you're the first to find out what's trending, and follow the IO team on social media so we can connect outside of YouTube. There is life outside of YouTube. Didn't you know? So let's get into this update, which honestly isn't really even an update. This deposition is actually about a year old, but Tara Roberts is Johnny Depp's employee. But people are bringing it up again on Twitter because I guess maybe it didn't get as much media attention as it should have at the time, and now it's like, oh, that's what you were saying. Roberts came forward as a supportive witness in Johnny's $50 million lawsuit against his ex-wife Amber Heard. In a legal deposition, she accused Amber Heard of attacking Johnny Depp violently while they were married back in 2015. She also says she personally witnessed Amber Heard body shame Johnny Depp and call him fat. When was Johnny Depp ever fat? The court document stated, "While I could not hear what caused the fight, Amber Heard repeatedly berated him with increasing ferocity. She was insulting him, calling him names, and in the middle of this onslaught, I heard her specifically say, 'Your career is over. No one is going to hire you. You're washed up, fat, and you will die a lonely man.'" The rest of what she was screaming was incomprehensible. The next section, Tara Roberts talks about an encounter where she was forced to intervene. At some point, Johnny Depp tried to leave again as they were now in the parking lot. He repeatedly asked for the keys for the vehicle, which Amber Heard had taken out, refused to give back to him, and which we later found in the house. He was responding to her verbal attacks by saying, "Go away and just leave me alone." Amber's screaming and berating rose to a fever pitch, and Johnny continued to yell, "Go away and leave me alone." I asked Christy what to do, and she said I should keep an eye on the situation. As Amber's rage continued to escalate, I described the scene to Christy. She said I needed to intervene and I should go to Johnny's assistance. And lastly, this is the most important screen grab of this deposition. Roberts said, "I hung up and immediately ran to the parking lot. I saw Amber lunge at Johnny, claw-tugging and aggressively pulling him. He continued to stand there yelling at her to stop and leave him alone. When he stepped back to leave, her onslaught would start again. During this entire incident, I never saw Johnny hit Amber or push her back, nor did he physically react to the attacks. She would calm down and hug and apologize. Then he would say he needs to leave, and then it would start again. Finally, I stepped between them. She continued to reach for him, but maybe my presence stopped it." Tara Roberts has been employed by Johnny Depp since 2008, so she knows him pretty well, I would say, at this point. There are several other women who were close to Johnny Depp who have come forward to his defense. Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, Lori Ann Allison said that they did not experience any abuse by him. His first wife, Lori Ann Allison, did not believe Amber Heard's claims and said that he never even raised his voice when they were together. She called him a soft person who's very kind to animals. Vanessa, his other ex-wife, wrote a letter to TMZ defending Johnny Depp and calling Amber Heard's claims outrageous. She described him as a sensitive and loving person. And lastly, Winona Ryder, who was engaged to Johnny Depp for 3 years and his co-star, said that she never experienced any violent behavior from him and said the allegations were shocking because she never saw him being violent toward anyone. She said to Time magazine, "I can only speak from my own experience, which was wildly different than what is being said. He was never that way toward me. Never abusive at all towards me. I only know him as a really good, loving, caring guy who is very, very protective to the people he loves." Unlike all of these accounts, Amber Heard's past is very different. She does have a domestic abuse past.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are back at it again, with Amber Heard's emails to the ACLU being leaked in regards to that op-ed piece that she wrote for the Washington Post. You know, the one that completely destroyed Johnny Depp's career. In addition to that, the LAPD have also cited that they will not be investigating her for perjury. I'm gonna get into all those details in just a moment, but first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we would really appreciate it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. So first things first, let's start with the emails that were sent between Amber Heard and the ACLU that suggest Amber didn't actually write her big Washington Post op-ed piece. If you recall, in that article she wrote in detail about the toxic relationship that she was in with her ex Johnny Depp. Now though, Depp's attorney has provided proof to the Daily Mail stating that the ACLU wrote this piece for Amber Heard. Depp's attorney Adam Waldman goes on to say, "This new trove of emails finally proves one of the things the ACLU has fought for years to hide. They wrote Amber Heard's false op-ed for her and were co-conspirators with Miss Heard from the start. These emails show ACLU communication strategist Jerry Johnson emailing Amber Heard and proposing an article where they would attack Trump come from making the US less safe for survivors of gender-based attacks. They also wrote this op-ed piece right as they appointed Amber Heard as an ambassador on women's rights. In addition to that, we also have communications between Amber and her ghostwriter speaking about the parts that she wanted to tweak. The essay assigned to op-ed writer Robin Schulman can be seen here talking about the first draft of Heard's op-ed piece, even saying, "It was such a total pleasure to talk with you. I tried to gather your fire and rage and really interesting analysis and shape that into op-ed form." And this goes on and on, by the way. I mean, there are several more communications that were released where they send back edits to certain paragraphs and ask even to take out specific words. This was clearly a coordinated effort by the ACLU along with Amber Heard, and it just so happens that in the divorce settlement they were promised a cool $3.5 million. I mean, come on. There were even emails leaked between Amber's lawyer Eric George and the ACLU where he was constantly advising them on certain subject matters in this op-ed piece. In one email he says, "All good except that edit is a no-go. Please explain to the Post that one cannot reveal discussions with a lawyer without waiving the attorney-client privilege. Can't let that happen here, especially since the edit adds nothing. Amber can simply say that an advisor made that statement to her." The op-ed was then published on the Washington Post website 6 days later and appeared in print the following day. Now her lawyer is denying reports that the LAPD are investigating as to whether or not she staged her injuries and fabricated a crime scene following her alleged altercation with Johnny Depp on May 20th, 2016. As reported by Radar Online, Amber Heard's lawyer is quoted as saying, "The statute of limitations for perjury in California is 3 years and has long since expired, so an investigation, much less charges, much less a conviction, much less jail time are impossibilities." Now Heard's lawyers are trying to request a motion for dismissal of Johnny Depp's case against her that is being held at Fairfax, Virginia court. If Amber were found guilty of perjury, she could face a maximum sentence of 4 years in jail. The LAPD also confirmed with Radar Online that they had never heard of the department investigating a perjury case before. The worst part is that in order to bury these emails now, Amber's lawyers are saying that the continued allegations against her are causing emotional distress. She told the judge that the case would result in more intentional fabrications and deliberate misinformation, trying to confuse the public, prejudice the jury, inflict harm on Amber Heard, and incite the Depp fans to violence. If you recall earlier this year, Johnny Depp had lost his case and the appeal for his high court libel ruling. The judge sided with the Sun newspaper, who deemed their article on Depp to be substantially true. Now, months removed from that loss, Johnny Depp has finally scored a massive win against Amber Heard. I'm gonna tell you all about it right here on IO, but first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. A couple days ago, we informed you that the producer for Aquaman 2 said that he was not going to be giving in to social pressures to remove Amber Heard from the film, despite many fans of Johnny Depp calling Warner Bros. Out for their double standards. Well, now they may have to second guess that decision because boy oh boy is Amber Heard going to be in trouble real soon. If you remember, she vowed to donate her $7 million divorce settlement to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. And according to Depp's lawyer Andrew Caldecott, he said that the donation was a calculated and manipulative lie that tipped the scales against Johnny Depp from the very beginning. Depp's legal team has now filed a petition with the New York Supreme Court to force the ACLU to hand over official documents to prove that Amber's donation was indeed real. Not that long ago, the organization refused to cooperate, but with the judge ruling in favor of 23 out of the 24 requests in the motion to compel, they're legally going to have to cough up the receipts. The only request that the judge denied was for documents pertaining to Amber's sudden role as a brand ambassador for the ACLU, which, if you think about it, makes sense. Most likely the reason why the ACLU didn't want to cooperate with showing the donation receipts is because they just made this lady their brand ambassador. I mean, how bad would they look if they just made her a brand ambassador and then she gets exposed for lying about donating to the charity that she promised she would donate to? That's like Lance Armstrong getting caught doping and then having to step down from the Livestrong Foundation. Because when I first heard that the ACLU didn't want to cooperate, it really baffled me. But now that I see they've denied the motion to investigate her being a brand ambassador, their actions make a lot more sense. In this recent ruling in Depp's favor, the judge said that Johnny Depp's legal team had satisfied their initial burden of stating the circumstances of reasons underlying the necessity for the subpoena. The judge went on to say in a statement, "Thus, for the reasons stated herein, the petition is granted and denied in part, and respondents are ordered to comply with all subpoenas with the exception of documents pertaining to Ms. Heard's role as brand ambassador for the ACLU." According to Amber Heard's witness statement earlier this year, she claimed to have remained financially independent from Depp the entire time that they were together, which is why she was so adamant that the money from the divorce would be going to charity. And you know what? I honestly believe that it was entirely possible for Amber to have been financially independent throughout this relationship. What I don't believe though was her claim to have donated the entire settlement to charity, which is a big deal to lie about. Not only is it morally reprehensible to take money that you promised to a children's hospital, but it also means that people in the courtroom were manipulated into thinking that she was this super charitable person. At the end of the day though, we will just have to wait and see what this subpoena brings about. I'm calling it now though. If she is found to have lied about the donations and the ACLU can't even bring up legit receipts, then it could be game over for Amber Heard's acting career. The backlash that Warner Bros. Would get after bombshell news like that would be almost too much to bear for them. Even as much as the producer likes to say that he won't cave to public pressure, that's not entirely up to him. There are so many studio executives in Hollywood that are terrified of that public pressure, and rightfully so. This is a story that people are not going to forget about for a very long time. And at number 10, defended by exes. With Johnny Depp's character being called into question after the release of that Washington Post article, it was paramount that his previous partners weighed in on the situation, which is exactly what we got back in March of 2020. Both Winona Ryder and Vanessa Paradis came forward to offer supportive statements for Johnny Depp. In a witness statement, Vanessa said, "I have known Johnny for more than 25 years, we were partners for 14 years and raised our 2 children together. Through all these years I've known Johnny to be a kind, attentive, generous, and non-violent person and father. He was never violent or abusive to me." With Winona Ryder adding, "I cannot wrap my head around Heard's accusations. He was never violent towards me. He was never abusive at all towards me." On top of that, Amber has never actually denied that she hit Johnny Depp, which we will get to shortly. Coming number 9, friends with the judge. When it comes to being a judge, there is one thing that you need to be: objective. You cannot make a rational decision if there is a conflict of interest involved. Justice Nickel, who decided the Sun's article about Depp was substantially true, came under fire for his decision after it was revealed that he had links to Amber Heard. Not only that, but he co-wrote a book on media law with Jeffrey Robertson, whose wife was friendly with Jennifer Robinson. Johnny Depp's legal team also claimed that Nickel failed to undertake any adequate analysis of Miss Heard's shifting account, despite the importance of consistency as a consideration of a witness testimony. Plus, Depp's barrister added, he excluded relevant evidence from his consideration, ignored or dismissed as irrelevant matters that substantially undermined Miss Heard, made findings unsupported by the evidence, and failed to assess whether her allegations could withstand proper scrutiny. The judge failed to properly assess her credibility by reference to documentary evidence, photographs, recordings, or otherwise. Coming in at number 8, War on Terrier. Back in April of 2016, Amber Heard was also involved in what the media dubbed the War on Terrier debacle. Her and Depp had to do this really awkward apology video because Amber had violated Australia's biosecurity codes by not declaring the Yorkshire Terriers that she brought into the country.
And Australians are just as unique, both warm and direct. When you disrespect Australian law, they will tell you firmly.
I am truly sorry that Pistol and Boo were not declared.
Then prosecutors dropped 2 more charges on Amber for illegally importing the terriers while Depp had been filming the 5th movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The conviction on the illegal importation counts could have possibly sent her to prison for up to 10 years. Additionally, false documents can actually charge carriers a maximum penalty of a year in jail and a fine of more than 10,000 Australian dollars. However, Magistrate Bernadette Callahan only sentenced her to a 1-month good behavior bond, which essentially means that she will have to pay a $1,000 fine if she commits any further offenses in Australia, although this certainly adds to her track record of lying. Coming at number 7, history of addiction. Another piece of the story that often gets overlooked is the history of addiction that certainly played a role in this messy divorce. Depp has acknowledged many times that he has tried to kick habits of heavy drug use during the period of his marriage, but added that he sometimes had lapsed. Amber, though, was not some drug-free saint that could help him through this. In fact, one could argue that her addiction habits only helped fuel their toxic relationship. During one courtroom hearing, Depp claimed that Heard had chopped out lines of cocaine for him before rubbing some of the drug onto her own gums. Depp's lawyer also noted that Heard experienced anxiety, insecurity, and jealousy that would manifest itself in severe outbursts of anger and rage. When Sasha Watts said that Amber often would have 2 or 3 glasses of wine during an evening, Depp fired back with 2 or 3 bottles. Coming number 6, illegal staff members. Amber Heard willfully lied again, except this time to US immigration by telling them that her British personal assistant was just a friend and was not working unlawfully. Her former aide, Kate James, who was fired by the actress in February 2015, alleged in a high court battle that Miss Heard deliberately smuggled her dogs into Australia, which led to her being caught breaching quarantine rules and overall thinking that she was above the law. The claims were made in a witness statement by Miss James, which was submitted to the High Court as part of Johnny Depp's libel action against the Sun newspaper. Not only that, but Heard also asked Depp's former estate manager to lie under oath after she was charged with bringing her 2 dogs into Australia illegally. Coming number 5, stealing stories. Now, if this one happens to be true, then Amber Heard is truly a bad person. According to her former personal assistant, Kate James, Amber had stolen her story of SA. According to Kate, she had told her former boss about a time where she was held at machete point in Brazil. She then said how she was shocked to learn that in a witness statement, Heard allegedly misrepresented and exploited her story to gain sympathy in court. In her statement, Kate said, "She referred directly to a violent essay that occurred to me 26 years ago, and she twisted it into her own story, and she used it for her own use. I am a sexual violence survivor, and that's very, very serious to take take that stance if you are not one. Coming in number 4, Doggy Doo-Doo. One of the most bizarre incidents to make its way into this case was the mystery about who left poop in Johnny Depp's bed. Heard had celebrated her 30th birthday at the home that she shared with Depp and then went to Coachella afterwards, which is what she is using as her excuse for why she shouldn't be implicated. However, Amber sort of stuck her foot in her mouth when she said that the housekeeper typically cleans up after their dogs whenever they happen to defecate in the house. So when the housekeeper was called into questioning, you would think that she would be able to substantiate that this was all just a big misunderstanding. Unfortunately for Amber, the housekeeper said that she has worked for Depp for more than 30 years and confirmed that she had never known either dog to defecate in the bed, adding that neither dog could even jump onto the bed if they wanted to. Plus, she told the courtroom that she handled a lot of dog poop and this one seemed to be human. Amber, you nasty. Coming number 3, false charity donations. If you remember, Amber Heard vowed to donate her $7 million divorce settlement to the ACLU and Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. According to Depp's lawyer Andrew Caldecott, he said that the donation was a calculated and manipulative lie that tipped the scales against Johnny Depp from the very beginning. Depp's legal team then filed a petition with the New York Supreme Court to force the ACLU to hand over official documents that prove Amber's donation was indeed real. Not that long ago, though, the organization refused to cooperate, but with a judge ruling in favor of 23 out of the 24 requests in the motion to compel, they're legally going to have to cough up the receipts. The only request that the judge denied was for the documents pertaining to Amber's sudden role as a brand ambassador for the ACLU. Not only is it morally reprehensible to take money that you promised to a children's hospital, but it also means that people in the courtroom were manipulated into thinking that she was just a super charitable person. At the end of the day, though, we will just have to wait and see what the subpoena brings about. I'm calling it now, though, if she is found to have lied about the donations and the ACLU can't even bring up legit receipts, then it could be game over for Amber Heard. Coming number 2, the busted lip. The initial reports that came out against Johnny Depp were that he slapped Amber, dragged her by the hair through their apartment, and then repeatedly punched her in the head. When asked in the courtroom what injuries she had sustained, Amber said that she had 2 black eyes, a broken nose, a broken rib, bruises all over her body, and that Depp had busted up her lip. However, the problem with Amber's timeline is that when she alleged these events to have taken place, a video from that evening's festivities shows her on camera after the alleged fight and with no signs of bruising whatsoever, which led Depp's defense team to accuse her of building this new set of lies that all the attacks actually took place after everyone had left the home. The other way that she was caught lying was when the lawyers cited her appearance on the Late Late Show with James Corden right after her allegations put Depp's alleged attacks around this time. The clip was played in court and again Heard had no visible bruises. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, the police report. In April of last year, Johnny Depp had filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber for $50 million after she wrote an opinion piece for the Washington Post about the duress that she was suffering from being with him. As a result, Depp was fired from his role as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and his reputation was severely tarnished. However, Depp's lawyers received a bombshell of an audio confession where Heard admits to hitting Johnny. In the audio, she says, "I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you, it was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched." Later adding, "I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you, I did not punch you, I was hitting you." Following this, the hashtag Justice for Johnny began trending, with fans of his urging for her to not only be removed from the next Aquaman film, but also face criminal charges.